The first book I read and just never wanted to end was To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. And for me, I read it freshman year in college. And I wasn't some great lover of literature before that. I mean, I always pretended to have read Gravity's Rainbow and David Foster Wallace, but I was just that kind of nerd. But I didn't really love it. I didn't want to curl up at home with infinite jest. But freshman year, I read To the Lighthouse and just started crying. And it just, I never wanted to end. I thought it was the most beautiful book I'd ever written. I still kind of do. And there's something about the depth of it, about I realized that every line was so deliberate and so perfect. And that Virginia Woolf had so perfectly captured the way the mind worked, that it just felt like I was reading a psychology textbook too, along with this, sad family melodrama. So that was the first book that kind of really, I think, led me to fall in love with literature. I mean, since then, it's, Woolf, it's Proust, it's all the predictable modernists.
It's funny you side with the modernists more, because they were writing like Woolf, like Joyce, from the perspective of inside the mind.
Yeah.
I wonder if all those early readings kind of pushed you toward, wanting to explore that.
Absolutely. I mean, as Joyce put it, he wanted to describe the broth of thought. I've always loved that image for not just what his particular modernist project in Ulysses, but also what neuroscience tries to do, is find the literal broth of thought, the actual chemical soup that leads to consciousness. Ian McEwan's another writer, by the way, who I loved Atonement. I thought Saturday was great. That retelling of Miss Dalloway. So, I mean, there are so many writers I could just keep on going forever in terms of me talking about books I love. But yeah, absolutely, the modernists, I think, did make me even more interested in the mind. I think they also, I mean, Proust Was a Neuroscientist is really a tour of modernism. And I think part of what I love about modernism is you have these artists saying, okay, science has the world of literal fact. Science works with molecules, physical forces, flesh, the body, matter. What can we as artists do? What's our purpose? And that's where you see these artists carving out their niche, their epistemic niche, as, okay, we'll describe the world from inside the mind. We'll describe reality as we experience it. And that's when you get Joyce and Woolf and all these other guys saying, we want to capture the stream of consciousness.